We're joining Jonesboro Mayor Harold Perrin today in City Hall and appreciate him for taking a couple of minutes to talk to us, sir. We know your campaign just made the announcement that you're going to be seeking re-election, and of course it's been a few years since you've been mayor already. Will you tell us, I guess we'll just start kind of from the beginning, tell us a little bit about not just, of course, the experience you have in office, but your background too.
Yeah. Well, background is I spent 15 years on city council, and during that time I was president of Mercantile Bank here in this building, and also I spent right at 20 years in banking and finance. So most of my complete adult employment has been in finance and economic development and things of that nature. So it kind of blended in with this job, because this job has a great deal of things that you need to know, and that is, number one is financial background. You've got to know how to work with folks, people. And the reason for that is, Dan, is that, we've got $60 to $70 million budget and 580 employees. And directors, we got about 22. Now, each one of those directors has a different type of style of managing and things of that nature, so you've got to get accustomed to that. And that doesn't happen overnight. You've got to learn how to do that. And so my background in banking, of having all the divisions from lending, trust department, all the things that's through there, that was really a big plus. Plus, more importantly, the 12 years on the council, I learned the entire system of how city government works, from ordinances to resolutions and to committees and standing committees and things like that. So that was a big plus.
Absolutely. So what would you like to see happen in the next term?
Well, I think one is we have a lot of projects going now that I want to see completed. And so the other one, the first one, I think is the bike pedestrian trail. We got a master plan. We're going to work on that. We'll start this year. In the next few months, you'll see on CREP, construction will start here probably in September. That'll be the first phase of that connectivity between downtown and ASU. So we've got that project going. The other one is the downtown area in itself, and I've always said that it's incredible that one individual took his money and put it in there, and that goes to show you that government is not always the one that's the answer. You have to start with public-private partnerships, and I've preached that since I've been here. And a lot of the projects that we've been successful about, the Miracle League field, we put a little money in it, and look what happened. We built a $3.2 million Miracle League field. You take the walking trail at Creekhead, all of that was RDOT through TAP grants. Blue Cross and Blue Shield came in, put the exercise equipment. Parks and Tourism came in, built the what they call trailhead, where you can wash your bicycle, sit down, and relax, visit with your friends. We even got a pit there, a burning pit, and all of that. So I want to make sure we work on quality of life and safety. And now from that is many projects that we've got planned. Okay.
Sure.
I worked with the people at the salvage yard, if you remember.
That's right.
And during that time, not knowing that at the end that they were in the process of, that they had under a confidentiality agreement, but they bought the other one. And so they're moving off of this property downtown. So with that in mind, I've discussed with them and worked with the family in St. Louis, the deal of where we can take that 9 acres and have a park downtown. So when you come across the bridge, you won't see a salvage yard. You're going to see green space, a walking trail, some other things. And that ties back into Jetton, which is a private company who bought the old Barton Lumber Company. And all of that is going to tie in. So I'm looking at from here in this whole area in downtown, and there are several things that we'll be doing with infrastructure along with that. But also in public safety, we've got the Citizens Academy, which has worked real well.
Right.
I can't tell you the number now, but it's several people's gone through that. But I want the police department to look at some other avenues. The big key is that in the last 2 years or so, we have taken some of our police officers and got them certified by the FBI, as well as Homeland Security, and also some of the other federal agencies. Now, what that means is, if we start getting after someone in a case, we can follow that person all the way to wherever they go, any state in the United States. That happened about 3 weeks ago, you remember, down in Mississippi.
That's right.
Okay, so that was a deal where our 2 people were down there, legally can be down there. So we're gonna do that. So I want the police department to look at that. I also want them to look at gang activities. This has been something that's a buzzword, and it's here, no doubt about it. And so we'll probably be adding some people to our police department with specialty things that they have done in maybe larger cities that we need to place inside our police department. And I've talked to the chief about that. And just like we got the Homeland Security lady, she's done an incredible job since she's been here. And so along with that knowledge comes a lot of funding. And a lot of those people, if you get them from Homeland Security, they are able to get grant money or through their agencies to help us to get equipment that we don't have. And number 2, even if we had the equipment, we may not know how to operate them, okay? So that's been a big plus for us. So again, it goes back to the safety, it goes back to the quality of life, and there's so many things great in Jonesboro that's happening. And I've always said this, if you're highly successful, you're gonna pull the crime. And there's no doubt about it.
Sure.
This happened this weekend, okay? And I've always been transparent from day one. What you see is what you get, and I'm telling you, we post our balance sheet and our checkbook on the website. Here's the good news. The good news is when I took over 12 years ago, the very first day on the job, I turned the city in to legislative audit. And I said, y'all have been here 6 months prior, you couldn't balance and do an audit on the city, and now it's on my scorecard. So I want you to come in and do a full audit, because now it's on my scorecard.
Yeah.
And so they did that. And it took us about 18 months or so to get everything leveled out on that. Now, since then, in the last 8-9 years, we have had impeccable, clean audits from legislative audit. And for a city our size, to have $60 million and 500 employees, that's just hardly unheard of, I'll be honest with you. I mean, no exceptions in the audit. And normally they'll find something.
Sure.
And the reason is I've taken my banking experience and all those things like that, and I've run this city just like a business. And the reason is, it is a business. And the only product that we have is customer service to you. That could go in the form of quality of life, that could go into city, police protection, whatever we offer you, but we don't build a product, okay? We only add customer service. And about 2 months I'd been in office, we had the worst ice storm, if you remember that.
I do remember that.
And it took $1.8 million to clean up this city. And it took about 12 months or more for me to get that money back into the checkbook from the FEMA and from Adam, because they have to work very slowly to make sure that you qualify, you've got good records and things like that. And I've been criticized sometimes for building up reserves, but guess what? What if I had not built up that reserves right now with COVID-19? Now, what you're seeing all over the city right now in the state is furloughs, layoffs. Now, I'm real concerned in serving as president of the Arkansas Municipal League this year. I'm getting that information for the whole state. And you've got some people in some counties that literally are almost broke.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, it breaks my heart to do that, but they built no reserves, or possibly couldn't build any reserves, and so now they're even having to lay off police officers in some of those deals in those towns, and it just deeply concerns me.
And I want to point out to everybody, we both had our masks on before
Right.
we're sitting at least 6 feet apart. We're about 10 feet apart
We've got
right now.
7 feet distance, but
That's right.
again, you're right.
That's
I wear
right.
this.
And you've got hand sanitizer behind you, several bottles. So
I do have.
That,
And thanks to Unilever, we got some more the other day.
All right.
And Unilever did an incredible job, and so I'm very appreciative of that too.
Shout out to a local business there. I like it.
Exactly,
I like it.
exactly.
I had a question from one of our supporters, and it was a really good one. They said, if I'm an undecided voter and I'm not sure who I'm going to go to the polls and vote for, why would I convince me to vote for you? So what would you tell somebody asking you that?
Well, I think because of what we're in now with COVID-19 and the tornado and all this stuff, I think number one, you need to really look for experience. And you need to look at someone, and I've been doing it for 12 years. And I would hope that the people feel that I'm doing a good job because I've been here 12 years. But you also got to look at the individual background as far as finance, business experience, reviewing contracts. I had to review contracts along with my city attorney. Is it a good deal, not a good deal? You have to have all these contacts in the state and federal level, which I built over the years. So I didn't get those contacts in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. It took years to get there. So I would just say to the voters is, because of where we're at today, let's look at the mayor. Has he done a good job? Does he have the experience? Does he have the financial background? Does he know how to operate and work with people? And I think I do. And I think I would say yes to all of those. But again, that will depend on the voter. What I'm trying to tell you is that it's extremely important. This is a big business.
Sure.
And I'm going to tell you, even though I spent 12 years on the council, 15 years on the council, and worked with every committee, chaired the finance committee, when I sat down in this chair 12 years ago and everybody went home, then you learn this job. And everybody's gone home but you. And you're sitting here thinking, what am I going to do tomorrow? Okay?
Yeah.
And so you learn from that. But luckily, I had those 20 years plus of banking experience of managing people, managing money, and that has been a tremendous help, I think, and it was good for the citizens of Jonesboro.
Now, I don't have a chance, obviously, to look at chat while we're here, but last question I had to ask, because I know somebody's going to be asking, tell me about Spider-Man that's on your desk behind you. So I see Spider-Man back there. Well,
Okay.
Tell me the story behind Spider-Man.
Well, Spider-Man, and then we have another one over there, is my grandson, 9-year-old grandson, and he came up here to my office, and he said, Papa, I need to bring you some of my stuff up here. Well, I didn't know it was going to be Spider-Man
Darth Vader.
and Darth Vader. But I said, hey, you know what, Jackson, if you bring that up here, I'll put it in my office. And so he was up here this weekend, and I really appreciate him coming by and visiting with me. And, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Let me just be honest with you. My age and stuff, I don't need any more plaques. I don't need no accolades. I've been, president of the Municipal League, all those things. I'm here to take care of the people. And I'm going to live here till the good Lord takes me home. And I'm building for those kids just like Jackson that came in here. I want to give them a better place than what I had it. And that's what I do every day when I think about what should we be doing in Jonesboro. Now, we have limited money to do it on, and I understand that. But let's do what the people want to do, and I think I'm a good listener. And I've learned before in communication, it's listening and hearing. I may hear you, but did I listen to you? And I think that's the big key in politics. Is sometimes you'll buzz over an issue or project or subject, and you're not really listening to the people. So I hope that I have that ability, and I think I do. And that's why I started having those ward meetings every year. Now this year we couldn't do it because of COVID-19, but I went to every ward, and I took the 2 aldermen that represents that ward, and I put up on a screen of everything that we're going to do for them that year, and then I opened it up for question and answer. Tell me what you're hearing. What should we be doing we're not doing? And we took all that information, I brought it back with all of my 21 department heads and said, okay, here's what they've said. How can we take care of this? And that's been very successful. And if you look at the number of boards and commissions that city has and how many people I've appointed over the years, I think that I've appointed some good people on good commissions, and they took it up very seriously. And that's what makes the city great. It's not just me, it's the people.